Start recording. That's not silent, Nick. And start streaming. Okay, crazy go live button. Let's go. There we go. And we're live. Hey everybody, it's the Bachelor Pad. Bachelor Pad Radio, Facebook Live, YouTube, Bachelor Pad Radio, Jake Podcast, jakepodcast.com. What's going on? We got Nick in the house. No more pretty facial view of Nick. We get the side profile.
I like that better.
And why is that? Because we have Dave in the house.
Hey,
It's Big Dave.
Big Dave.
Which now, because of the other Dave, anytime I mention Dave, I get Dave? Who? My buddy Dave? Well, yeah, your other buddy Dave.
Well, no.
Buddy Dave? Oh, Dave White.
No.
Like, he goes through like a 6-person, regression. Like, I've met you like a couple times in life, right?
Right.
I think, in recent memory, this is 3. One time here, one time in my driveway, and then today.
A few more times.
A few more times. I'm talking in recent
Right.
times.
But the
So-
weird thing is though is that me, Dave, and we'll call him David. That's what he likes.
No, I like him, Dave.
In high school, that's how we.
That's how you do.
That's how
You
we
identified
differentiate.
between the Daves.
Yeah,
Dave
but
and
we
I
all
was David.
we've all known each other the same amount of time, and I always like forget that when you say Dave, I it's weird thinking that you know Dave White because I never see him in here, and he's
I spent like 3 years with Dave.
yeah,
Every like at least twice a week
us too.
of multiple hours of Dave.
He's a lot to handle. He's a cool guy.
Dude, he was always fine for me. He always had a lot of questions, right? And it's cool for me because I've been through just about everything, right? So when I get somebody in who's like, man, I've got this, and this girl, man, I don't know what to do. So I'll talk him through whatever issue he's having. Well, then it started to become a common thing. And then he had a lot of random things that he wanted or needed to talk about. So
He had a lot of relationship problems that he came to you for, didn't he?
quite a bit. And there wasn't, it's almost like seeing a therapist. When you go, that's why I'm not a huge believer in normal, psychiatric, on the couch, like if you're seeing a therapist or something, because they sit you there, they ask questions about you, you answer the questions, and they go, now what do you think about that behavior? Which, if you're introspective enough, you can look at that same few questions and ask yourself the same thing. You don't need a leveling post or a bouncing post. If they're giving you a ton of good advice or whatever, that's awesome. But if they're just asking you, telling you, to think about it, and well, do you like the way that happened? Do you like the outcome? Do you feel that, that was effective, or, what do you think? And then you answer the question, you go home, you think about it, boom, you had an epiphany. I don't need help having an epiphany. Oh, I did this, and this is the reaction I got. Oh, maybe I shouldn't do that in that same manner again. It seems
That comes with age too. I think a lot of it. Well, you got to understand the age gap in between. You kind of when you're at this part of your life, and there's a generational gap between. People will look up to the next generation up for better advice, just because it's more more experience.
But just like I was yelling and arguing about I had the religion talk and the religion debate.
No, I was having those at like 14. I'll stand by you there. I was debating that exact same stuff at 14.
But we're in the information age. It is literally your fault for not knowing anything right now. If you don't know the answer to something, if you have to ask somebody else for the answer to just about anything, number one means you're lazy, or number two, you've got like some horrible ADD that you can't go, oh, I'm having all this going on and squirrel, and okay, sit down and look, read. I mean, you can get on YouTube and you can source some of the most intellectual people on the planet, the smartest people, Harvard, Oxford, and whatever, giving their lectures online. What you used to cost you zillions of dollars, or you had to go to Harvard or Oxford. And you can source that information. Now, you still may not be able to do anything inside of somebody's pea brain size brain and actually form an opinion or understand it, but the information is there. But if you haven't even looked to source the information yet,
Well,
that's a problem.
I mean, I agree, and I also disagree with you here. I'll completely stand by you have access to basically everything you could ever, learn right now, and that's cool. I also don't think that we should be afraid or throw off the table, talking to each other and learning from each other and learning from each other's experiences.
Those
too.
are good ways to.
So you got to give them credit for actually having a conversation, because the cool thing about talking to you or anyone is that it's interactive. You can get specific with what you really want to find out of someone, as opposed to looking up an answer. You might be missing details, or you might be missing a relatable story or a metaphor that really resonates. When you're talking to someone, you're in the similar environment that they're in, right? So you have some sort of relation to the surroundings. So
For sure.
maybe your advice, maybe your information is more better received by that person just because they're in the exact same environment as you. But yeah, I like both ends of the spectrum. I'm one of those people that will YouTube everything. I don't really ask, but there's certain things I'll ask, like if it's stuff around the house or working on cars. I always go to my dad, or guitar stuff. I know I could look up, but every time I wanted to string my guitar, I always went to my dad. I didn't watch a YouTube video. There's certain things where you just kind of feel it's more of a connective.
Oh, don't get me wrong. If that goes away, I'm going to have very little purpose on this planet.
Yeah.
The only thing I have now is that in my downtime or my boredom, I either read, research, look deeper into things than most everybody I come into contact with.
Yeah.
So I would say it's probably like 3 to 5% of the people that I deal with and talk to that come in here that either know what I'm talking about, have researched it, that have the same level of understanding. I have no problem giving them, whatever information. The only bad thing is if I have disinformation, guess what information they're getting, right?
Yeah, of course.
So it's good to...
But that also translates to the internet as well. There's so much information. People are being creators not because they have the best information out there or they're right. They're doing it because they want to get it out there. They want to brand themselves as that person. You might watch a YouTube video that's completely wrong, and I've seen plenty where people are just spewing BS. And, just because it's on the internet, we're in the era of fake news. You see a fake news article and people, lose
But I
their
mean,
minds.
come on, I can see...
Well, yeah, you're an educated feller. Some people are very stupid out
But
there.
then
and
again,
that's a dangerous
that's
thing.
the whole point. Maybe you Google, how do I figure out if this is real or fake, right?
Yeah.
And look, I understand it's a progression, but I think we gave a pretty introspective look on the clitoris last night. I think we gave pretty good information. We're really leading on AskMen.com a lot.
I got a text.
You found something out about the clitoris last night?
No, I got a text today from the girl that I went on a date with the other day.
She was like, "I can't date you anymore."
No,
what are you
she
talking
said
about?
she's like, I don't even know how she found the podcast, but she's like, I watched the whole podcast.
That was a good one.
I was like, wow, okay. She's like, I was very pleased to find out that you do know where the clitoris is. That's less work I have to do. And I was like, cool.
Yeah, and we're doing a service not only to ourselves but to the ladies out there, and any dudes who listen to us, any yahoos who
Did you chime? I saw you watched for a little bit.
Yeah, me and Jordan actually watched it.
Really?
Yeah, for a good amount of time. We were cracking up.
Yeah, the fact that the clitoris has feet,
Yeah, it was really interesting.
it's like
information,
frog
yeah.
legs in there or whatever. Yeah, it's kind of neat. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's weird.
So
That's the one thing I didn't know about the clitoris, though, is that it like webs in with spider feet.
yeah, no. As far as I was concerned, it was just like it was, like an embroidered, like where you just get like just that
like a
little,
patch.
yeah, just a little dink, and it's right there. I didn't know that it was
little button.
It's hardwired in, bro.
Oh yeah, there's resistors, there's
Like-
grounds.
Like if you're in a MacGyver or a one of the
three-prong.
Mission Impossible things where you've got to cut the red, the green, or the blue wire, and the clock's ticking down. Like, oh,
Right.
dude, the next time I'm gonna do the
rewire the clitoris.
dude. I think I also came up with a cool move too. too, knowing that the that the legs or the wiring, however, if you're an electrician or a fisherman, that the legs of the frog or the wiring that actually, and it's something that I haven't done. Normally the thumbs are generally used as a kind of like in science class, or when you had to dissect, something like a frog or something small,
Right.
where you peel the two things back and you put the pins in to keep the the skin retracted. That I almost think now that after, I think it was like the second or third one, that it kind of shows like it goes from there almost like a wishbone down around the external part of the of the vagina and along the through that area where they say the legs go, the magical legs. And I think now I'm going to start to massage the legs, because who doesn't like a good leg massage?
No, yeah, that's what I was like before you even got on that. That's the first thing that went in my mind. What are you doing down there? I'm just giving you a nice little leg massage with a lady.
Heck yeah, man.
Do your fingers like in the camera angle? You look like Donald Trump telling people stuff.
Yeah, no, this is good.
Oh, and just for quality's sake, when you talk in, like, this is probably the sweet spot right here, and like when you do, just don't move your mouth. Like, you can look around, but like when you do this, you go away. Here, use this for a while. So yeah, no, man, the spider legs is a game changer, because even though I
really is.
I knew how to locate and access and work around and maneuver the whole machine, I had no idea what happens when you pop the little thing out. How do you rewire that? What happens has there ever been a clitoris replacement?
Or like a dislocation?
Yeah.
Like, could you, hey, I'm going to be off work for a week or two.
I mean, we've what is it? When you get the operation to when a guy gets a vagina installed, how do they wire in?
Installed?
Yeah. Well, I know that they invert the penis, but
Yeah, they almost cut it like a hot dog and bend it back
yeah,
or whatever.
but do they ever wire in clitoris at
I
all? That's a
imagine
good
you
question.
lose a lot of
Well,
sensation.
technically all of, and it was funny because I talked to my buddy Blazer, and I made jokes about the, the clitoris and this and this and this. And he's like super smart. Like, he has probably like 10 books worth of knowledge on anatomy and physiology, like just in his head. And when I was like, yeah, I made a joke like, oh, cool. Way to one up us, females, that, your little, you've got an organ that only deals with pleasure, and we've got to pee out of ours. We've got to do other stuff. Ours has got to stand all the way up. And
Yeah, boo-hoo us. We
Yeah.
get to, sorry, yeah, it sucks because
He's
we
like,
don't have to
he's like-
bleed or...
he's like, well, actually, we have, anywhere from 10 to 30 times more nerve endings in the head of our penis than they do in the clitoris. So, this, and this, and, by size and volume, it's like 100 times more sensitive than their, clitoris, and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, thanks. Okay, Dr. Zhivago, I'm glad you told me all this, but
Did he
I
spend
thought-
nights reading this in cold sweats?
No, dude, the dude just like, it's one of those, where you just begin to look at stuff, and everything that he's ever seen, written, heard, just kind of forms in his head and can be regurgitated
So
at
he's
any
like
moment.
on the limitless drug at all times.
Kind of, sort of.
Okay.
No, it's weird. I've got two friends like that. Like, again, I've made a long, I've got a long history of befriending people that are way, way smarter than I am, which is not hard to do. I'm not an extremely, smart fella. But all my friends, it's kind of that who you associate with and whatever. When I'm around them, I'm not normally having, dick and fart joke. That's what you guys are here for.
Oh, come on, man. We're a little
No,
bit more
I'm just
higher class
No.
than
Yeah, I'm just
Come
ba-dum-bum.
on, man.
No jokes allowed on this side of the table, I see. But
Amateurs,
with dealing,
yeah.
I've got two of them that are eerily, creepily intelligent, and to the point to where socially they're either awkward or completely off the radar, because there is a weird leveling post that you can't. Once your intelligence gets to this point, your ability to be social, or your even want to be social, begins to diminish. Just like and I think I might be getting close, because my whole thing that, when anyone wants to have a debate or a conversation with me, I need to have like these 3 to 5 like key questions, or I'll ask them something. If they somehow cannot answer that, or they don't have that baseline knowledge, I'm not going to continue to talk with you.
Man,
Because
I think there's a good balance that you can maintain. I think everyone's got different personality types too. I I think having, well, you got to understand too, the social skills that you acquire are also a very intelligent part of your brain. So even though you might suck at calculus, if you're a real people person, that's an intelligent part of your, cerebral doing a good job at something.
Yeah, well,
it's
I can't.
where it's located. It's, wherever the firing of the neurons are. I'm probably sounding like an idiot to anyone that knows anything about a brain.
If anyone's taking notes, it's the neuron. No.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just everyone's got their own specific genius, right? So I think I like having a good balance of everything.
Yeah, and look, I'm not on a quest to know everything, but it is good to have a good baseline knowledge. And it's weird, the religion talk is what got me off on it, because boy, when that goes, it's no, so you're going to tell me all this, and that's what really seems to be a scrub.
From like 14 to 18, that was all that I debated with anyone. It was just it was like a fight for my life every second, man.
And old Livy's back. Livy is, boy, she's as steady, steady as a rock, isn't she? She's there. God, I love this woman.
Yeah,
and I think she chimed in and said she wants in on our next LS run.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Do you need to bring the tongue? She is now the.
I showed Dave that yesterday.
Is that not?
Maybe
it was another Dave. I don't know.
Licking hot sauce off the plate.
Oh,
video.
yeah.
That was weird.
That was very weird.
I mean, it's like not a bad weird, but good for you.
Okay, so hey, let's. I got to get away from that tongue. That did
He's
weird
got
things
it on
for
his
me.
laptop right now.
Yeah, I do. It's blown up. I've actually turned it into like a GIF. It's moving.
Yeah, endless loop.
Live
Yeah.
video.
Okay, so what? Have you guys paid attention to the news at all today?
Yeah, it's Halloween.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw the calendar.
And there's also 8 dead in New York City, a truck attack. Mayor calls it an act of terror. Police and witnesses say a man deliberately drove a rented truck into a busy bicycle path near the World Trade Center in Lower Manhattan, killing 8 people and seriously injuring 11 others. So there goes just another bit of our.
If it doesn't rain on Halloween, someone dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I
I didn't mean to, get weird, but it's rained a lot of Halloweens, and it didn't rain this Halloween.
Nobody died
Halloween
on those
ever.
Halloweens.
Yeah, no one died.
I
No,
would
it's either
like
rain
to-
or death. Yeah, it's
I
one
would,
of the two.
I would like to see the.
It's
demographics
only
of this.
rain or death. Yeah,
So
it's crazy statistics.
Was it a pretty calm Devil's Night?
from what I guess, I mean, I watched a few minutes of the news before I lost some brain cells from watching, Fox 2 News and
Right.
Dina Senefani and, the rest of them. They're all dressed in like a Batman, Robin, and but they did have the police chief on, and he said, hey, it was cool. It was a good. I mean, of course, there were some. And that's intrinsic just to, to like our area, right?
Yeah, right.
You go other places, like, what's this Devil's Night you speak of?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Well, is it that regional?
Dude, I don't even know regional. I've asked people in as close as like Cleveland or Chicago or whatever, but I think it may just be like a Detroit thing, and I don't know why or how that became.
I did not even. I thought that was like a countrywide thing.
No,
that's weird.
Yeah. So I know in Texas, no one knows of it. Like it's just nope, don't know anything. So yeah. So basically, in the news, that's just about all we. Anything notable that I saw. And it was kind of weird because for the first time in a long time, somebody came in and went, hey man, I just got an update on my phone. Did you hear about whatever happened in New York? And I'm, okay, what is it? But as soon as I open my browser, boom, there it is. So kind of random.
Right.
So I don't know.
So I guess I immediately went to Donald Trump's Twitter to see what was going on in Crazy Guy's head.
They talking about the NFL?
Well, he said in New York City looks like another attack by a very sick and deranged person. Law enforcement is following this closely. Not in the USA. Well, you know what, Donald
Ironically,
Trump,
yes, it does
it's
happen in the
happening
USA.
very very frequently. And then he tweeted right after that, we must not allow ISIS to return or enter our country after defeating them in the Middle East and elsewhere. Enough. That doesn't even sound.
You can't disallow an ideology, you turd wrangler.
Well, that and was the thing in New York even linked to ISIS at all?
From early reports, they're saying that there were some they're taking credit for it. People are dancing in the streets and whatever. So yeah, like believe me, the folks over there not digging us all that much. So
He's very active on Twitter right now,
Dude.
After that, you think he would post like condolences and that would be it for the night? He's already talking about the Republican House members are working very hard towards the massive tax cut they know you deserve. These will be the biggest ever, which is, oh my God.
no, dude, we're living in such a comedy parody of what this is supposed to be.
You see the compilations of all the millionaires and billionaires telling the people, hey, we don't want to be cut. We're fine. We're good. We don't need the tax breaks. That's not.
Yeah. Yeah, it's ridiculous at best. Well, do you want to hear how my day started, right? I kind of gave you a snippet of my Johnny Do-Gooder, start to the day.
Yeah.
I've got to rehome. I've got to rehome that dog. The dog that is like a female version of my dog. It's a Belgian Malinois.
Yeah.
Very difficult dogs to train. They take a lot of work. I'm about a year in on mine, and he's just now getting to where he's a normal dog person thing. She gets this dog as a runaway, went to the Humane Society, and it had like just come in, and her daughters wanted a shepherd. Well, anyone who gets it and goes, oh, it's a German shepherd. It's crazy. It's got short hair, and it's crazy. Its head is formed a little bit different, and it's not a German shepherd. It's a Belgian Malinois, right?
Yeah.
They're a handful at best. There's videos out there that tell you what they are and how they are. So this dog got loose, and the young lady had cats. So she also had cats. Well, you're bringing in a dog who's a year old. You don't know how they're going to behave with random animals. It's a little bit of a handful, but I guess she was crate training it to show it discipline and in and out, and I agree and disagree with crate training. But if it's needed, it's needed. Well, she left. The dog got out of the crate, jumped over the baby gate, and got after one of the cats. And let's just say one of the cats didn't make it, right? So, the whole household, is in an uproar. She's got young kids. So was talking, I hate to do it, but I'm going to have to bring the peaceful nature of my house back. I'm going to have to get rid of this dog. And I'm a huge dog person. I deal with some dog groups. We actually had a great dog rescue event at the landing strip probably less than a month ago.
Oh, really?
Interesting there with all that stuff, but it was kind of neat. So I didn't want to see this dog, and remember how I told you it was like 2/3 for the overall good and helping the young lady out. And worst case scenario, I would take the dog, and the kids can still visit the dog because we're only a couple houses away. But I also am not ready to bring pandemonium into my house because I'm having to deal with my old geriatric dog and some of the issues she's having.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do that to disrupt her. I don't even know how long my dog's going to make it. So I called my buddy Matt from Redford, and I went, hey, you guys were talking about fostering a dog or getting a dog. I've got this great dog. How about you foster it for me? And if the turn of events turn to where I have an opening in my house for a creature, then I'll go ahead and take the dog. And if you decide you like the dog and you want to keep it, cool. At least I know it went to a good place. So it's a fostering. It's like a rent to buy. It's like a rent with the option to buy. On the dog
for a living being. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, cool. If you can just hold it for me, and I'll pay for the dog's food. I'll make sure that it's not too much of a burden on y'all.
So Matt came through?
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
Dude, lickety split. Well,
Wow.
And actually his counterpart, his young lady, Joe, she super dog person, sent pictures, did whatever. She said yes in an instant.
They don't have any cats, do they?
They don't have any cats.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So
that thing likes cats, or very dislikes cats.
Were they told it was a shepherd when they?
They like a shepherd mix or whatever.
Okay.
So a lot of times they don't know. The minute you take it to a vet, the vet goes, "Oh, you've got a Belgian, you've got a Belgian Malinois, So cool. Have fun with that one." And this dog is mellower than mine, and it's very chill and very relaxed. in contrast to mine.
But it's got different things.
And I also believe that if you're training it and whatever, you have to show an alpha to it, and you have to be very stern with it, because they hear commands and they'll adhere to a command, and then they'll go right back to it 20 seconds later, sometimes 5 seconds later. Come here, sit, stay. It'll sit, stay, look at you, you turn your head, it starts walking again.
Yeah.
So, just through consistency and, using the exact same tone and doing the exact same things, you'll start to, build out it took 3 seconds before it went back to doing what it was doing, 6 seconds, 9 seconds, 12 seconds, right? It'll keep expanding. And after a while, the dog will just get it. And sometimes it comes with age and knowledge and whatever, a lot like Nick, mentions, younger people that eventually, as they get older, they'll learn some things, and and a lot like with these dogs. So I go to pick up this dog. I get the crate. I put it in the back seat. I go in, I'm talking to the dog. I'm talking to the other dog, the super friendliest dog in life. And, they've never seen me in the house. It's normally in the backyard. So they're really excited. Like, woo, you're in the living room, Mr. Nice Guy from down the street.
The neighbor's dog?
The neighbor's dog. So I'm in there and I'm playing with them, talking. And, she's giving me, the items and all the stuff to take with the dog. Well, the dog goes up and one of the two of them pushes, and the front door, the front screen door opens. It opens, both dogs go running out. She kind of, shrieks like, "Oh no, this and that." And I decided to, obviously I'm going to run out there and try and grab the dogs. So I run out there and I'm like, I get out and, just for my own self-preservation, what do? I go after the dog that is technically mine.
Right.
Assuming that the other dog is kind of cool, right? Like it's not going to tear off. So I grab this one. I'm like, got it, right? The other one should be easy. It seems like a well-mannered creature. And she went, no. She's a runner. And as soon as I looked, the dog looked at me and I went, "Hey, buddy," and I called its name, and
He's like, "Nope, screw this.
Dude,
I'm out."
It turned, gave me the double, the super double, like behind like this, almost like antlers, like, F you, pal. Thanks for coming over. You got me out of the house, and was gone.
Yeah, good looks, Jake. See ya.
And this young lady and her, her kids and whatever have dealt with plenty of just weird stuff over, ever since they've had the dog, trying to, socialize it in the house with other animals. So I do what every, self-respecting, gentleman does. I've got this. So I tear off running after this dog. She tells me that it's going to go to a neighbor's house 2 doors down, who across the street and through the next backyard. I know the gentleman, and it's going to be at so-and-so's backyard. That's where she goes. So I went, okay, that's easy, right? It's going to go there, and then it's going to let me grab it, and then I'm going to walk it back. So I run, and you've been in my neighborhood, right? It's all woody and thatchy, and the backyards are huge, and, it's like backyards that are completely forest-like. So it's kind of weird. It's like weird enchanted forest in your backyard. So I have to fight through this, and I'm like, I'm going to get poison ivy or poison oak. This really sucks. Come here, dog. So I'm running, and I haven't, taken off in a pursuit run, and it almost seemed like an episode of Cops, because my keys are jingling in my pocket like ching, ching, ching. So I sound like a police officer running through these backyards. I have to hop a fence, go around some stuff. I get there, the dog's in the backyard, and there's a couple toys in there because my buddy, whose house it is, has a dog also. So I grab Squeaky toy, and I'm like, "Squeaky, Squeaky." I'm like, "Hey, come on, right? There you are." I kind of throw the toy towards it, and it went, "Yeah, not that easy, Slick." Turns and runs to the front of the house and then across the street. So it goes,
smart.
Dude, and it's running just fast enough to stay ahead of me.
He thinks it's a game.
He knows his routes.
And when I got a little bit closer to it, it would pick up the speed, and I'm at top speed, right? I have not eaten. My nose has been stuffy for 3 or 4 days. I can't breathe properly, and I'm hoofing it, right? So, and dude, you got this, Jake, you got this, and I'm through the yards. It makes a left turn, and all of my, my neighborhood streets dead end into the Lower Rouge Parkway.
Yeah.
So we've got anywhere from, a quarter of a mile generally on both sides of the Rouge, with the Rouge River running inside of it. And it goes all the way around through super wooded forest. The dog runs down, and it's a 25-foot decline from where the road is down this like steep incline, and I'm thinking, and the bad part is I'm still keeping my mind about me like, oh, you know, I'm going to catch the dog, but the dog goes down that incline, and I went, oh, dude, I hope the dog's okay. Until I run up to the steep incline and almost fall all the way down.
Oh, my God.
And I went, so I kind of, you know, I try and balance myself, and I'm like, okay, cool. So now I'm grabbing like vines and crap like Tarzan, and I'm holding onto this from a tree and a tree branch, trying to like shimmy down like I'm reverse rock climbing like down,
Oh,
and I'm
my
like, oh,
Lord.
and the dog's over there, and I'm calling like, come on. I faked an injury, which almost got her.
Yeah?
Because, you know, it is a very loving, nice creature, whatever. So I get there, and I really don't see where I can put my feet and get down to the next little plateau. So I pretend like I twist my ankle, and I'm like, ow, and I figure it lives with a bunch of girls, right? It knows that if one of the kids are in pain, or, you know, somebody, they seem to be sensitive to that. So it stops, and it starts walking back towards me, and I'm like, and I'm like, I kind of give like a fake cry, or who knows, at this point it may have been real, just because I don't want to go back without this dog, and, you know, I'm the nice guy from down the street, not the dude who took one of their dogs and then had their other dog, you know, wash away in a river, right? It's been raining, you know, so I pull the my leg's broken kind of thing and whatever, and I'm reverting to like Lassie and all these dog movies. The dog comes back, so it's walking back to me, and it's kind of like, oh, are you really hurt? Like, you're not pulling my leg, are you? And it gets to that, you know, and I'm like, come here, I need some. I'm like, I did the help. That was a Lassie, and dude, it came back to a point and then stopped and went, yeah, you're not really hurt,
you're
bro.
all right.
You're a dude.
ain't
I've heard you talk.
I'm the alpha now.
That's right. I've sniffed you. You don't hurt easily. And boom, down it went. So of course I spring back into action, almost fall. I grab a stick like a wizard, one of those huge walking sticks, and I have it to brace myself so I can like kind of like jump and land. I chase this dog, the equivalent of like 3 or 4 blocks through the woods and through the riverbed, until enough fallen trees were in my way that I couldn't even get over them, and couldn't get to where like the dog went down a trail and I couldn't. So I had to walk up a hill, climb through somebody's backyard, down the street, and back to the house and go, dude, sorry, I lost your dog. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And I'm like, okay, but I can't give up now, right? Because she's just like, my life is, what is happening with my life? So I said, okay, let me move my car. I'll take her to my house, and I'll get Scoob. Scoob knows this dog. Scoob really, really digs this dog too, right? He knew this dog before the other. And I went, if I tell Scoob properly to go get this dog, I call her name. If I tell him to go get it and I set him loose in the woods, he'll come back with his damn dog. But then I went,
What if
he doesn't come back?
Yeah.
No, those two go off, and it's
Make
like,
babies in the woods.
yeah, and I'm like,
They set this whole thing up.
yeah, I'm not really.
Yeah,
they talked.
Yeah.
They
I feel
talked
ya.
on Sunday, like, hey man, here's what we're gonna do. I'm
Today's
gonna
the
kill the
day.
cat. He's gonna come
Kill the
over.
cat. Yeah, I'm gonna murder that cat, and then we're gonna be out. It's gonna be like Prison Break.
That's right.
what's
Like
holding us
somebody's.
Shawshank Redemption with the dogs.
Yeah, like somebody's got to go down for this, and
I'll meet
it's
you
not
in the
gonna be
woods.
one of us dogs. We're gonna get the cat. We're gonna do whatever. Get the door.
Cat owes me money anyway.
That's right. That cat. So I get in my car. I drive around. I go to a couple spots. I go to the farthest point to where the dog could have gotten to before it can cross Michigan Avenue. I text her. She texts me. One of the neighbors got it. It literally went back to that house. The whole thing was a ruse. As it went down and did whatever and trailed me all the way over here, as soon as it cut off that way,
It went back
and
to the
I went,
house that she
it went
told
back
you
to
to
the
go?
house that it went back
Oh
to.
man.
So, note to self: if it ever gets out again, I'm just gonna go sit there on the back
Yeah.
porch and crack a beer and wait for it to come back.
Yeah.
Because, dude, I've got scrapes and scratches and
Yeah, you look a little banged up, man. You had like a scared look in your eye earlier, like you were hurt.
well, dude, look, I'm not the nicest person on the planet, and I do care about others on occasion. Dude, her and those kids and whatever, and the trauma of getting a dog and then having to get rid of a dog and whatever. I know I've had that happen when I was a kid. The last thing I want to do is their one staple, cool, awesome creature I somehow had a part in losing.
Right.
So even after that, I had to go to my Garden City store, get a check, drive the dog all the way to Walled Lake, introduce the dog to the other dog, and hope to God that those two dogs got along so that there were no shenanigans. And I had to then drive back all the way through traffic to get here and start the day for work. The whole time I left my wallet in my coat because I was running around trying to catch dogs. I didn't bring my coat nor my wallet. Didn't realize that as I was driving, and I was like, oh, better do the speed limit, get pulled over, and have to, try and remember what address my license says or whatever,
Stayed in bed.
Yeah, it was one of those. And you know what? I had that under, that overwhelming feeling today that, you know what? I can just do this tomorrow or the next day. Like something was telling me to just, you know what? Give it a day or two, Slick. You jumped into action pretty quick on this one. Like, I can solve this problem. And yeah, and the 1/3 part of it is because it could technically end up being my dog. So yeah, that was a start to the day.
Yeah, that wore me out just listening to it, man.
Dude, that was a lot for me. You listen to me on a regular basis. I don't do a whole lot of it. If it requires a lot of effort, yeah. Yeah, I went in the hot tub last night. Oh, there'll be a hot tub this evening.
Yeah.
Because, dude, I guarantee when I came in after doing all that and finally got here, took care of a customer, sat down, as soon as I sat down, maybe 5 minutes went by, somebody came in and was like, hey, man, can you get me whatever? And I was like, yeah, for sure. And I got up and went, oh.
Your legs are going to be burning that hot tub tonight, though.
Oh, dude.
Scrapes.
Legs and back. Well, but it's good disinfectant. I'll throw a little extra chlorine in there.
It's a good hurt.
Yeah. So, yeah, kind of crazy. You know what was funny? You mentioned something, and we probably won't go overtly sexual unless it goes that way. But you mentioned, something about the naming of his aunt and whatever when you were joking around about some stuff.
Oh, the age difference and how our names are now?
Not exactly. I mean, that was
talking about the sexual nature of a name.
Neither. We did discuss all of those, but what I was the point I was going to attempt to make with it is when you mentioned like, oh, well, if that guy at the bar had run into Ethel and done whatever, and well, then he'd be my dad instead of my dad and whatever because he, whatever because of the cool name or whatever, right? There's a couple stories that I've heard from old people recently, and of course it makes me think about I'm very passive aggressive and take it or leave it on whoever. Most of the time I play so chill that the female actually I get them to jump off sides.
Sure.
And I've looked at like probably 10 people recently or over the last year or so that they were so steadfast in you're the one. Like the guy was like, you're the one, I'm going to be with you, whatever, like made a fool of themselves, did whatever, fought through all that crap to get that person. And then like one of them, just got married like, 3-4 months ago. And then I heard stories from other people, and I find it really weird. And I thought about it because anytime I'm engaged with any female, I'm like, she's cool. Let's see how it plays out, right? Let's see if we jive and, see where the vibe's at and whatever. Versus going, like thinking about it and going, no, I'm going to make her mine or I'm going to do whatever. And actually like being super proactive about it instead of well, yeah, cool. Like, let's hang out and see where it goes. And, one of those philosophies, because I've been inundated with stories of dudes like, no, man, that's my chick, dude. She's cool, whatever, dude. I want her. And the weird thing is like over the last like 2 years, I haven't said that or felt that technically about anyone. And I don't know if it's my philosophy or
you just haven't found a chick that's made you had that epiphany so far.
And I don't necessarily believe it's the female. I believe a lot of it has to do with the rationale in your head, right? Like I've got a lot of other stuff going on. Do I want to put that much effort? Am I going to put a relationship above business and all these other things versus when you make that decision like, no, dude, that person, dude, she's hot. She's cool. I really dig her. I'm going to do everything in my power. Cause that's what it was. Like they kind of, with reckless abandon went after whatever. And those situations generally work. Like, I wondered with a few girls that I've dated and I'm not willing to go with reckless abandon, right? I'm very rational. I'm very like, cool. If you want to hang out and you want to do whatever, I'm not going to go anywhere, but I'm also not going to pursue you with that weird like serendipity type drive. So I was wondering, with your take on it. Now you seem to think it lies more in the female. Like if the female's that worthy, then you'll kind of do that.
I don't want to say,
But you also said quite a few things that relate to what I just said also, because you're going to do what you're going to do and you're not going to stop doing what you're doing. The driven part of you, as long as a chick is cool with whatever you're doing, but you're not going to like abandon what you're doing to.
Yeah, I've got a really fluid philosophy on that because I mean, it really comes down to it's almost like, you know, writing up a contract or a lease agreement. If you know what you want and that person meets it, then there's not going to be an issue. I think that if I'm looking for something long term and I think, wow, that girl's the one, I want to make sure, one, that our lifestyles and life and our goals or whatever we want to do in life are going to be, you know, compatible in a way. I think that if you can establish that and you can grow with that person and you know, find someone that you can actually learn and enjoy what you do. You know, if you found a chick that loved doing podcasts and you're like, yeah, this girl's really cool, or you know, she's awesome and she also loves this and that, and you could kind of intertwine that with your life, and I think that would be more worth it. On the contrary, I also don't think that you have to have that for a relationship to work.
We talked about that with the two business owners and then the opposites.
Yeah. So I think that, listen, I think it can go
I'm
either way.
I'm either gonna put on a bib or blow my nose. I can't take it. I was gonna get up and run, but I found some Buffalo Wild Wing wrappers. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I think
I didn't mean to be distracting.
No, man,
nor
you can clean yourself up whenever. I'm never gonna stop you.
Oh.
I think that it can work either way, right? I tend to lean towards a relationship that I have more common interests with, and sometimes it boils down to just getting along, having similar personality types to the point where you can just entertain each other. And then sometimes it's I want someone that I can grow with and do stuff I like to do with, because if you find someone that you can do things that you love with, you don't have to separate timing, right? If I found a girl that wanted to make music with me, I wouldn't have to okay, I need to put an hour aside for her, an hour aside for that. That's 2 hours of the same thing for me. You know what I mean?
And the combining of the two is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe like it was funny because I ran into a girl, and it makes me wonder, you know, what relationships, or you know, when people are so happy and they're together, and you've seen them be together for, you know, for a year or two. There was this chick that I saw. She was at a transition point in her life, and I easily could have dated her, right? I heard what she was saying, saw what she was doing. I could have easily, hey, what are you doing? Like, been very forceful in the, you know what, we should go out. I could have pled a very good case, and then I would be with her instead of the current person that she's with now. I don't believe it's magic stardust and it's like a soulmate that she met now, but it's a good person and a good fit, and they're having a good relationship to, you know, to this day.
Right.
But instead of, I saw the opportunity, and I think it has more to do, like, you know, a lot of people say, you know, everything is, you know, is timing and opportunity, because you can meet a great chick and she could have a boyfriend, and you could have a
3
girlfriend.
years could go by.
Or you could talk to somebody aimlessly online for 3 years and then go, hey, let's go out on a date.
Well, timing, man. That's the thing.
Right, because who knows, if you would have met earlier.
Oh yeah, we wouldn't have gone through all of the stuff that we have in the past 3 years. I wouldn't have suggested 3 year older me or 3 year younger me to date anyone, you know?
Yeah,
but I might say the same about myself 3 years from now. You know what I mean?
Exactly, right? Because it's a constant growth and progression.
Yeah.
So
it's always the best time when it makes the most sense. Nothing's conflicting and it just feels natural.
And this is the only bad part of overthinking, or not even overthinking, but thinking through processes. Because it was funny when I ran into this girl, and it wasn't like I was in, you know, like in love or puppy love or anything. It was just, she's a cool chick. Regardless if we would have gone out and it would have been, and it didn't work out, cool, back back out, and you're, you know, no worse for the wear. But in the same token, I didn't take that step forward. And I don't normally, because the whole rational side of me is I live a weird life, right? Like, even if I was dating a girl who was, you know, is a bartender or a waitress, they're still working until 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to go home after this, go home, grab a bite to eat with my dogs, do whatever, go to sleep, right? And I also don't sleep all day. I get up at 9 o'clock, right? So I'm up from like, anywhere from 7 to 9 o'clock in the morning until maybe 12, 1 o'clock. So I'm in this weird no man's land that it doesn't really fit with anyone.
Yeah.
And I'm not willing to do a lot of the stuff that is required.
Here's the thing, man. If you have to create a pros and cons list before you consider, if you have to create rational thought and be like, wow, okay, we have to consider this and do that, it might not work very well.
But see, I do that with everything.
Well, yeah, I know, but
except for saving this dog and running through a forest.
But I'm sure a lot of your great decisions have been good gut feelings, things that you took a chance on, right? Things that felt right, and you decided to pull the trigger and do.
I mean, I thought through the processes extensively.
Yeah. But I don't know, Dave. Where's your? I never really asked you this, but where's your rationale when it comes to before you get into a relationship?
What do you mean?
Like, where's your
do
thought process?
Do you have a pattern, or because it generally happens one of three ways? You meet somebody, and this is where everyone's like, oh, he's my soulmate. No, he just happened to be a friend of yours, and a friend of his girlfriend happened to be here, and you met. Now, if he would have invited another dude, there still would have been, the few beers, and you guys would have had the opportunity to talk. And as long as you weren't a complete jerk and she wasn't a complete jerk, hey, that's cool. I kind of like. So some of it is situational, right?
Opportunistic.
And then others where you happen to know somebody, and then they get out of a relationship, you're not in a relationship. The timing, like, oh, we're both single. You can, and now with social media, you can tell what people are feeling and doing. And oh my God, I'm so bored. I haven't gone out in so long. Huh? You know what? Next, you run into her, and after a couple beers, and be like, hey, what's going on? You already have the forehand knowledge, whether or not it's subconscious or conscious, that hey, we should go out and do something sometime because she's available. Or, it's just I believe that there's multiple situations, but I guess I overthink. He plays, Magic Stardust, like if the fairy flies over and breaks a little pixie stick thing, and
I don't get me wrong.
You always want to fall in love, Nick.
Don't get me wrong. Like, I've had a lot of just meaningless flings and stuff, but it doesn't excite me. That is not what I go for.
Yeah, I become too good of friends with him, and I don't know.
You just you just get close with them really quick?
Yeah, then it disappears. Just real lust.
Because
it disappears.
Okay, yeah, kind of what we talked about. Like again, I've only seen you 3 times recently,
right.
And one of those times that that conversation came up with.
Oh yeah, with your ex and whatnot.
Right.
With quick,
how short-lived.
but see, sometimes with with situations. Like I've got a cool chick friend that I've been friendly with but she's got a kid, and oh, what are you gonna do? And you meet her at that point where, okay, yeah, you kind of have to move in with me. Well, I do like you and I do whatever, so you move in, and then you're around each other all the time, so things are really good and whatever. But then
like the true colors come out.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, dude, I've moved this person into my apartment. I really need to move now.
Yeah,
it's more theirs than it is mine. They've got a kid. I don't want to be a jerk and kick both of them out. I got to wait out this lease.
Now there's a crib in your room.
Yeah. It was a big headache, to be honest.
Yeah, so I don't know if there is any. The only correlation that I found lately is that everyone that and it's weird. I've been paying attention to it, but it's that action, right? And I say it in business, and I say it in life in general. Having a good theory, having a good everything is done or factored down in the action of doing. Right. You have to be doing something. You can like this person, and you can be cool, and you can do whatever. But if you take the action before the next individual, like, oh my God, I was going to ask her out like, next Friday, like when I went up and saw her on Friday, and oh, she just went out on a date and did whatever. And now she has a boyfriend, and now she's dating that guy. And it wasn't magic. It was the first idiot that asked her out.
Right.
That she went out and had fun for the first time in a long time, and now she's not going to be a jerk and like date 3 guys at the same time. She's going to stick with him and see if he plays his cards right.
Right.
He's the new boyfriend, and he'll be the relationship for 1 to 2 years before it goes to hell in a handbasket, and then she'll be back again.
Right.
I mean, yeah, most of it can be boiled down to that. There's also, chemistry that goes into it too. You can be, any sort of charismatic or nice or jerk or whatever. If if you guys don't hit it off, it's not gonna happen regardless.
I find myself trying to save girls and end up losing myself.
Captain Save-A-Ho.
Yeah.
Not to say they're all hoes, but
No,
they kind of
no.
turn out to be.
That's
Yeah,
what it
that's
ends
right.
up being. Yeah.
Generally, those that need to be saved. Same thing goes for girls that are saving guys, right? How many, dude, there is an epidemic of females dating dudes who don't have a steady job, who have a drug addiction problem that's second to none.
Because they know they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well,
it's like constant.
I think
And it used to be like Florence Nightingale syndrome or whatever it was called
Yeah.
back in the day, where
or
they,
Stockholm syndrome, or
some,
they don't want to leave.
well,
even if
this
it's
was
abusive
like a
or
nurse,
bad.
like it
gives
was
them
a
a purpose, kind of.
right,
Oh,
like they
yeah,
need
like
to take care of.
bedside manner,
Yep, they
right?
need to take care of somebody because women do have that. Now, when they're dating a guy that they don't have to take care of, the dude is totally functional. And I've also found that it's very hard to date women that okay, maybe they're only making a certain amount of money or their life isn't set, and you've got your S together. They like subconsciously, or they're very insecure about the fact that, oh, well, cool, you've got a good job, you've got this and that, I'm not doing anything with my life.
You also have to turn, when you see patterns in the people that you're dating, you have to turn the mirror back on yourself immediately. There was a long period of time where I was finding myself with a lot of females that were like very depressed or anxious, and then I was like, I wonder why that is. Not really realizing that maybe that was my comfort blanket. That's what distracted me from my own depression or anxiety, was that I could, deal with someone else's and mine kind of went away. You can kind of, if you feel like you got to save everyone, maybe you're really trying to, fill some sort of void in your mind, or some sort of thing in your past or in development happened where.
Well, and especially if the relationships don't, because those kind of, people that are in that, whether it be a rut, whether they actually have a chemical imbalance or whatever, kind of, and I go through weird waves.
There's always some role that needs to be filled in a relationship, no matter what. It's either great or something's bad and you're fixing it, or vice versa, or you need someone to hate or you need someone to love.
Hate?
No. So there's some people that are very attracted to abusive relationships, and no matter what, they always seem to find themselves with some asshole that treats them like crap. And you see this a lot with I don't want to really break down a lot of girls, but a lot of females that have bad relationships with their father might find themselves in that scenario.
You got a lot of daddy issues, and I've seen it on the guy side, like and I've seen it in both ways. Like if they had a really like strong mother figure, right? That the mom was just boom boom, you need to do this, and maybe not nice and very very like oppressive. They will date a woman a lot like their mother.
Yeah, yep.
And then they do, and when they complain about it, I go, dude, what are you talking about? You literally are dating your mom. Do you remember how much you griped and bitched about your mom growing up? Like, no offense, that's your mom, but your mom is kind of mean and ran roughshod on you your whole life. Like, why would you choose the person to show your penis to be of that same
to be your mom?
Yeah,
Right.
to be that same, type of person.
Bachelor Pad Radio, don't bang your mom.
That's right. Well, you know what's funny? I got accused it was a few years back that, oh, don't worry, Jake just doesn't like strong women, right? And I don't like that tag.
Right.
And I'm like, what do you mean I don't like strong women? Oh, well, and it was women trying to, because I didn't like a couple of these girls
Trying
and
to
it wasn't
break you
strong.
down.
That's a real assertive, comment.
Yeah.
But it's not that you're strong. You are a mean bitch person.
Oh, and ladies, there's a very thick line between being strong and just being a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm a fairly nice guy, right? You've been around me. I'm a nice enough dude. I just, I don't like dealing with shenanigans.
Yeah.
So I avoid that. I live a very loose life. I have fun. I've been in the pursuit of happiness so long that I basically just said, I found my weird level of happiness, and I can't have too much. The minute, like, too much of the just life gets in the way, I can't. I factored my life down to I get up, I go to work, I come home, dogs. All I need is someone to fit in that void.
Yeah.
That when I'm home from work, hey, how was your day? Let's take the dogs for a walk. Go have fun. I do understand in a relationship. Like, I am an adult also, so like, Sunday through Thursday, I go to work, come home, do whatever it is I choose to do. If I play softball, if I go to the gym, come home, we have dinner, we hang out and do whatever. Now Thursday Friday, Saturday, whatever you want. If you want to go downtown, you want to go here, you want to go drive to, Irish Hills and go antiquing, I'll do whatever it is, right? Because I understand you need to do some stuff, but I'm also not doing stuff on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I got to get up. I got to make a living. I've got stuff I need to do.
Right.
But what was weird is this female was very, like, had a very strong opinion about, like, the boyfriend she had, and rah, 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 and just he was getting yelled at all the time and being told what to do. And I went, wow, that's weird. Then she started chiming in with weird opinions about me and the way I was living my life. They would come to my apartment and I would be ushering out some hot 22-year-old, right? And hey, I'll see you, blah, blah, blah. And oh my God, she's so ghetto and she's so this. And I'm like, dude, she's 22, right? Okay, so you're like 28 at the time. She's 21 or 22 or whatever. And, oh, she's ghetto. Did you see the shoes she had on and whatever? And I'm like, what does it matter? I'm like, dude, she looks naked she looks awesome when she has all that stuff off. And you know what? She didn't say a word about you.
Yeah.
And she didn't say a word about you. So where's the problem in this that you seem to be very opinionated on this girl? And, oh, well, what does she do? Is she, where does she work? And I'm just like, whoa. So that's where I got the tag, where I started, biting back on some of those things.
Wow.
And I just went, yeah. And I think one day over beers at like a barbecue, I was like, yeah, no, that's fun. I was like, dude, you're cool, and you're a pretty woman. There's no ifs, ands about it. But I could never date someone like you. And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, we just have different standards of of existence. I'm all about happiness. You're chasing something. I don't know what it is, but I've kind of found my happiness, right? I want to go to work. I want to do whatever. I'm happy every day.
Yeah, those ladies that were, claiming to be the stronger woman in the scenario are a lot weaker because they got to prey on the younger cat that you're with.
Yeah, and then and I wasn't dating anyone in particular. So anytime they would come to my house,
it would just be a rip fest on anyone, just because
on anyone, or
Yeah.
even if there was nobody there.
Well, I mean, they probably liked you too, huh?
No, they were with this this person,
Oh, okay.
and they would stay together, got married, did whatever. But it was weird. It was like, why do you care so much about, like, it's when you have the like your chick doesn't like Nick. And for whatever reason, like, oh, Nick, he's always, doing his music, and, you always go over and see Nick, but Nick never comes over and sees you. And, like, bro, leave my relationship.
Those have been real scenarios.
Oh,
too.
of course.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I've been through them all, and it's really weird. And I didn't like that I got the tag that I don't like strong women. I was like, no, but
You don't like bitchy women.
yeah, and I'm not
Or
gonna.
assertive women.
I don't have anything to say about you or your friends or whatever. Like, those are your friends. I understand how important those people are to you, so I'm not going to bag on them or whatever. But, I had to tell him one day, I was like, yo, maybe you could tell her to, maybe butt out of my business and start. Like, I don't want to have an argument with her.
Right.
Like, I could have had an argument with her, like, any one of those days. But I'm like, dude,
Why were you friends with those chicks in the first place? They sound horrible.
they were chicks that were dating my friends.
Okay, that they just came around and they.
Well, of course, because my friend was never allowed to be, outside of their presence. So anytime my buddy came by, he came by with his chick.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
anytime he was around without his chick, he then, would tell her, like, oh, so what was it? So what girl did Jay cave over and whatever? And look, dude, I'm not some, Don Juan DeMarco. It's not like I have a ton of chicks. But at the time, I was just dating, right? I just,
Yeah.
anyone who was around and was cool and, hey, you want to go out and do something? I'm bored. You know, you want to go, let's go do something. And yeah, and I got all those Johnny Do-Gooder, like, they were all at that 28, 29, like, phase in life.
Yeah, right before they turn into monsters, huh?
Yeah, and I was, and I was probably like 30 or 33 or something, right? So I was a couple years older, and I think they didn't like their friends being friends with me, still living a bachelor, lifestyle. To where I had a cool car, I had an apartment. I really had no worries. I always seemed happy.
They were looking for what they wanted to see in their man, in their peers. They wanted to be like, wow, okay, maybe if their best friend is getting married, maybe my dipshit will propose to me next week or something like that.
Yeah, and then they're hanging out with me, which is the complete polar opposite.
Yeah, and they're like, wow, this guy's got a different girl walking out every week, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
Let's try to morph my boyfriend's friend into the guy that I want my boyfriend to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's really weird. I don't know. And I thought about it because I've looked at probably 6 different scenarios where if I wanted to, not to say they would all work out, but I could have thrown myself into, hey, you know what? We need to go out. Let's go out and let's do whatever and actually take an aggressive stance. And I guess my passive-aggressive nature to where, yes, I'm here and I'm available, and if it really factors down, but what I found is the more alpha style of, I'm friends with this chick and we're hanging out, we're doing whatever, and it's cool, but I'm not asking her out. We're just kind of, we're being out and we're friends, and I know that at any point I could have went, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing on Friday? Let's go do something. And I could go run down to the casino and go to Cafe de Mangos and go run around and do some stuff, but that would be pushing the agenda of actively dating them.
Right.
And I don't, and I give it like 3 weeks later, and then, I'm dating, I went out on a date, or this, or you see it on Facebook or whatever, because you can track everything, you just, whether you want to see it or not, you're like, balls.
We don't even need microchips. We're already giving
there's
all
this
the information we need.
So this dude popped the old let's go out question, and now they're out doing stuff, and you watch the little relationship blossom, and all it took was that one, hey, let's go out. And if they had a good time, then there's a second good time. And then it goes, and I'm like, balls, I could have done that with any one of these girls, except, I've got an idea and a vision of things I'm doing business-wise and other things that I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing to do so. Like, it almost has to be the perfect storm. Like a girl who works a weird mid-shift at something, she also gets off at about 11 because I get off at 9. I don't stop doing the podcast until 11 something.
Yeah.
And then, in the morning, everybody's up for work. Or the chicks that work that late generally sleep in until noon or 1 and then get up, because chicks, for some reason, sleep more than us.
I think they just BS all night.
It's maybe their clitoris legs run in their sleep. Their legs are running. They've got restless leg syndrome.
Oh my god.
I wonder if restless leg syndrome and the clitoris legs are coinciding.
I wouldn't say. I would probably bet against that, but you might be onto something.
It's definitely possible.
Yeah,
Anything's
they could
possible.
pop up like a little spider at night and just
And wander around.
crawl. You swallow. It was like 6 spiders on average a year. I wonder how many clits you swallow.
Ooh. All right. So what's going on? You know what? I may do it as a weird like social experiment where I may ask out like any girl that's in my radar range. I'm just gonna go super aggressive. The opposite of the slow play that I did last year, which was awesome because it equaled out to a ton of good fun shenanigans.
Yeah.
But it seemed that all the girls that were down with that slow play fun shenanigans, there were none of them that I could have seen. They either drank too much, partied too much. You know what I mean? And
that's the environment you just put yourself in too, right? You're not going to find the people that are going to be best suited for your life in those situations where you're out for
that's what I built the slow play model on.
Yeah.
So I think this one will be just to see how many like random first dates, and then I'll back out graciously unless they're actually cool, and then maybe one will stick. But maybe I'll do the buckshot approach.
Try it, man. I mean,
I think I'm going to.
Happen is they say no.
Oh, I could care
Right,
care
that's the
less.
next
I'm
one.
doing it as a social experiment.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's no ego involved. It's not like I wonder how many girls I can get to say yes. It's cool. I wonder, because all these things, the next time I see a scenario, and it was weird. I saw the girl, God, it had to have been about a month ago. And I went, oh, I really could have, you know what I mean? And we're really,
Well, why didn't you?
just because,
You just
like,
didn't.
do I really want to?
Did you like them enough to be like, wow, really want to date them? Did any of them make you say, wow?
Oh, I mean, in a way, wow, but it's the effort, like me knowing.
I don't mean like physically, like, wow, that girl really carries herself or
Look.
has this.
Look, but you don't understand what my viewpoint or what I'm looking for is not that. All I'm looking for is when I'm done doing all my stuff, cool. I get off at, 9 o'clock at night. Hey, what's going on? I'll meet over your house. You meet over my house. Take the dogs for a walk. Hey, how was your day? Talk, do whatever. Grab a bite to eat. Bang, bang, bang. Crash. Go about your life again in the morning. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like somebody to fall in. It's not like part of it was the effort. Like, and that's what, it doesn't matter. It could be the most perfect chick on the planet and go, oh, do I really want to put forth the effort? Like, I've got a lot of other stuff. We've got to figure out how to monetize this properly by January 1st. And I'm going every morning when I wake up, I'm having coffee. My mind, you know what it is my mind is preoccupied. I'm not allowing my mind to be preoccupied. Think about every time you've dug a chick and whatever, you've had downtime in your day, whether it be your job or whether it be anything, where you kind of daydream like, man, no, she's cool, where it'll jump in your mind. Mine doesn't. Mine is, how do we do this to where we don't have to, how we turn it into a local color radio show to, we can monetize it properly to do whatever, and then turn the back part of this into a studio, and then do X, Y, and Z. That's where my mind is. So
mine does all that at once. It's a fiasco.
And then you even throw in like, and that'd be cool to go, grab a bite to eat at 7 in between doing all that. Like, I can't. My mind is one track.
No, well, I mean, no, I will not try to make stuff in my day work that won't. But like, I'll still, my mind will be like this, that. It's just, I'm a delivery driver, so I got a lot of time to just think all day. And so
thinking and driving,
I think about everything all day long. That's why I try to I call him like every day just to get my mind off of its own mess of running through every single thing that I'm thinking about. Listen to a podcast, listen to some radio, but then as soon as that becomes too much, I turn it off, and then it's just boom, ding.
Yeah, see, mine is thinking, my mind is solely driven on, business or how to do the next thing, So if it's not the current business at hand, it's the next thing at hand and whatever. So there doesn't seem to be a window of availability in there somewhere that is, I guess because I just don't have relaxed downtime right now.
Well, good.
Actually, I haven't for the last 8 years, but.
Well, good, as long as, just trust where your head's at, right? If you're doing what you deem is best for you, and don't try to sway it any other direction.
Screw me, it's my penis. Look, I can go get the penis taken care of on the weekend, right? That's fine, and that is my main driving force. I'd love it to be with a cool person who wasn't really complaining and didn't yell at me a lot, and then, play with my penis. So there is no.
Well, that's why we're gonna get you a nice little sex bot. And you're just gonna
seriously.
That's why you got dogs.
Sex.
You can't bang your dogs though. That's the problem.
You can't. No,
but you got Jill.
But it's either sex robot and some cool chick friends. I've been working and helping my my cool friend, who's finished her master's program and taking some other stuff. So it's weird. I have the social interaction with my chick friends, right? Yeah. And for her, I can aid and assist when she needs some stuff, and I like it because it's intellectual, and she's a smart, she's a really smart cookie, so I can work and help her. And then I've got a couple others that, hey, just cool, meet up, go to the bar, and they're there, and hey, what's up, and talk and have a good time. Right. But the actual push to do anything more or other than that, I'm like, I got a whole bunch of other stuff to do. I can help you between 11 and 1, but then I've got to do my stuff, and then I've got to, I've got to do X, Y, and Z. Then I got to get into work, and then I've got to do the podcast. Then I'm going to go home and I'm going to think about X, Y, and Z and do some work on the computer. Then I'm going to wake up and have coffee and do that again.
You're stressing me out, man.
That's a lot of stuff. The only thing that brings me joy and sanctity is my crazy creatures that go, hey, jerk, take me for a walk. Take me for a walk and chill for a minute. But it's actually very peaceful. My thinking process is it's where I think I kind of, where I'm at my best. When I'm having coffee and I'm in front of the computer and I'm, okay, what about this? And, here's a good idea and here's this. And, just like the thing of parting out a certain amount of this building to allow other people to do podcast and multimedia.
Right.
It's something that plays into your wheelhouse. It's, something I think I can sell. And I get probably 15 people that walk through here a day and go, dude, I've always wanted to do one or whatever, but man, I don't know anything about this and that. And if we, become the authority in that scenario, offer them a place to do it and have somebody coming in here on the hour doing whatever, that's a nice, chunk of change to reel in. And it's something that I think is, kind of a progressive movement.
Yeah, let's get that one moving. I'll quit my job and just be a supervisor for the podcast all day.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. It's, depending on how much money it can yield and, doing some stuff and then the advertising side. So these are all the things that I think about when I'm having my morning coffee.
And and that's the cool thing, though, because you don't, as long as there's nothing else throwing itself in your mind, you don't really need to disrupt that because it's good and you should nourish the hell out of it, So,
of course.
Yeah.
But the only in my waning thoughts, like if I go out and I have some drinks and I run into somebody and I see her and I'm like, oh yeah, dude, I so thought about following after that, but balls, I didn't, and this dude did, and I'm like, cool, good for him. And then now I get to sit and watch, like, how is the relationship? Is it good? Is she crabbing on Facebook? And, is everything awesome? And it's weird.
Around.
But then again, I would have to stop doing a lot of the things I'm doing to make time for another individual.
Yeah.
That's
the thing. That's the thing, man. That's what I've
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Is unless it fits and feels right, don't do it.
Okay,
so that's what she said.
I'm gonna put that is correct. That sounded I'm gonna put like a Craigslist ad. Are you available from 11 until 1:30 in the morning?
This guy's very specific, but he's very intriguing.
For excellent conversation, sometimes extremely funny, sometimes very serious.
This guy's tooting his own horn. I like it.
1 or 2 sex romps and
endurance,
and then leave me alone until 11 o'clock the following day. And, go enjoy your life. Do whatever it is you do. I'll never ask.
Sounds like a speed date.
Yeah.
Dude, like a continuous repetitive speed date.
You just need like a monogamous long-term continuous speed date.
And look, I'll give you Friday and Saturday night, Saturday all day, Friday night after 11. Sorry, we got to do some stuff. But, Friday night, we might as well just make it, hey, let's meet at the bar and drink heavily and do weird stuff. And then Saturday, anything you want. And then maybe some mild stuff on Sunday, but I do have to do laundry and, go grocery shopping and do all my stuff. So, or back to my weekend. Did I ever tell you my weekend girlfriend philosophy? I thought of it.
I don't think so.
It was when I was managing Bazooki 2 downtown.
Okay.
And I had a bunch of, extremely hot, cool wait staff. And they were like, Jake, what are you doing? How come you ain't got a girlfriend? And what are you doing? And blah, blah, blah. And I was like, dude, I'm here all the time. I was like, in what world could I have a girlfriend? If I didn't have a girlfriend coming into this, who in the right mind would date me? Like, I literally work Monday through Saturday. Or, Monday through Saturday or Monday.
You worked a lot, man.
Yeah, no, it was a lot. But there was a weird like shift to where I either had Sunday and Monday off.
Yeah.
And I worked Tuesday through Saturday or whatever, right? So I had the weirdest days off in life. So with only having those days off, I was like, dude, I'm here all the time. I don't leave here until everyone's out of the bar, the drawers are counted, everything is done. And how in God's name can I have a functional relationship? And then it dawned on me. I was like, oh, somebody who does the same thing. But who wants to, shit where they eat or eat where they shit? The smell is bad, whatever.
Yeah, and then you have to find someone that you actually like that has the similar.
No, dude, you put way too many parameters on it. I don't even have to like you. Just have some downtime.
Fit the title. Yeah.
Do you want to do nothing together? Like, how about doing nothing?
So is some homeless lady.
Dude, she'd be perfect. She's always available.
Oh my goodness!
And look at I've got the one thing that you probably need most: a roof over your head. The only go outside and still be homeless, but you can come back and be like a fake
Yeah.
homeless person.
But don't sit here all day. You got to go outside during the day.
I really see again. Why do you put all these labels on
I'm
stuff?
just kidding.
Do what you
man.
want. Just sit there. Just be there at 11 when I get home.
Yeah, man. Put a homeless lady in your house, man. See how that goes.
I don't run into many homeless lady. Where do you find homeless people?
Under like bridges in Ann Arbor.
Okay, when am I in Ann Arbor?
I don't
Never.
know, man.
See, there's the effort part. All right, but here's my weekend girlfriend's philosophy, and you might want to, Dave. I thought you seem pretty innovative. I like Dave. I think maybe this will work for you, right? And it helps if you're busy, and you really don't even have to be busy. You just have to appear to be busy, and go, look, I don't have a lot of time. And one of my waitresses, and she was super, super like attractive, like dude, she was really cool, really attractive, and she mentioned to me, and I thought about it for like a day or two, and I went, you know what? I thought about it, and my only time available, I go, you know what I need? I need a weekend girlfriend because I'm busy all week. I need a weekend girlfriend that when I get off work on Friday, you do whatever you want during the week. You call me on Wednesday and we just both agree, we talk about, hey, how was your week? How's everything going on? Are we still on for Friday? Where are we going to meet? Well, I'm going to be here, whatever. Cool. I'll come over and meet you. We go home that night, Friday night, like we would meet at the bar. And Friday night I'd meet at the bar. She'd already be out with her friends. I didn't even get to the bar until like 12:30. We'd meet up. Hey, cool. What's going on? Okay. So we'd hang out. We'd have a couple drinks. We'd go home. We'd have sex like rabbits. We'd wake up on Saturday. What do you want to do? And she'd always have stuff to do. Let's go here, there, and whatever. And we'd run around and do stuff. And then, Sunday, somewhere in the middle of the day, of course, we'd crash out again. Sunday morning, we'd get up, we'd have breakfast. We'd maybe go do some stuff, maybe go to the mall, whatever little stuff she wanted to do. I would treat you like the epitome of a girlfriend, but for only like 2 or 3 days. And then the rest of the week, go do whatever you want. Go be busy. Like one girl that I did it with was, she was in college. So she was still in college. She worked like, a part-time job, like almost pseudo full-time, like they were full-time days, but only like 3 days a week, and then went to school, and it was pretty neat. But the waitress that I was with, we both worked the same hours, and we didn't tell anyone that we were boyfriend and girlfriend for only Saturday night and Sunday, because we both worked and we both had Sunday off, and it helped when I made the schedule. So we both had those days off. So Saturday night when we closed the bar, we'd go to my house, and there was no drinking involved because we just worked like crazy. So we went, we hung out, we made the wrestle, and then got up Sunday, hung out all day Sunday. And then, Monday we did a little stuff, and then that was it. And then, boom, we just went back to work like it was nothing.
It just sounds like a regular relationship, what you're calling it a weekend I mean, imagine.
But what about the other days of the week? Tell me, what relationship are you in where you get off
sometimes,
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
Sometimes people get themselves in relationships where they only see each other a couple times a week.
That's not a real relationship.
Yeah, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yeah,
it's a weekend relationship.
Well, you can call it what you want, man.
No, but real relationships, like sitcom relationships where you go to work and come home, both of you work and come home, or in Dave's world, they're already at your home, and then you come home and they're there. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's not a real relationship and it doesn't have to be living together, but when you're both home and either you're at her house, you're at least spending, if you got 7 days in a week, to me, a relationship would garner 4 out of the 7. That you're seeing each other more than not during a week. That would deem as a real relationship. If you're seeing yourself, I see myself a lot lately. If you're seeing the other person the shorter part of the week, the 3 days instead of the 4, that's not a real relationship. Can you catch my drift on that one?
Yeah.
Glass half full, half empty. Dude, if you're on 3/4 seeing someone, you're seeing them more often than you're not. If you're seeing them less often, than the days are available, then that's a thing.
Yeah, well, sometimes things happen, man. You can still give 100% to someone, but you just can't do it every day of the week.
That's the epitome of not giving 100%.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you can never give someone 24/7, 365.
Unless she's a music
leech.
maker and you guys both sit around and make music, and it's like John Lennon and Yoko Ono. They had the bet in. They never were apart, bro.
Yeah,
they broke up the Beatles.
Yeah, that broke up the Beatles. That's not a good thing.
I mean, I think they were kind of done. I don't think they had any more. I didn't think they had another great album in them. Maybe a song or two, but that was still a stretch.
Yeah, Yoko Ono, the yodeling dog.
Yeah. And dude, I mean, you got to give him credit. Now that's where, Love is Blind, because she was not an attractive woman.
Oh,
No.
I mean, don't get me wrong. An Asian is an Asian. You like the Asians.
oh my God.
But-
Asians. Come on, Jake.
How many
better
Asians
than
have,
that, Jake.
no, I'm not. I'm absolutely not. Dude, seriously, and how many Asians have you been around? They're like great white buffalo.
Not many, be honest with
Yeah,
you.
exactly. Have you dated an Asian?
No.
Okay. So how about you, Slick? Of course he has, because he's Nick. He's done everything.
I don't think you've dated one.
I've never dated an Asian.
Okay. So now I'm some kind of a jerk. The look, it's an Asian. That's neat. I would love to date an Asian. I've never had the opportunity. They're just kind of out there running around. They seem to run for me like Godzilla. Like, I've gone to a couple bars where, this is a good Godzilla reference.
You look like the opposite of an Asian guy. Like, if someone was like, give me the opposite of an Asian guy,
Yeah.
I'd be like, there.
But have
go.
you noticed what what Asian girls normally date? Like, in Texas, we had a ton of Asians. My brother is dating a really cool Asian chick. We didn't really get along in the beginning or whatever. Maybe because I had a bunch of hatred because they'd never hang out around me or whatever. And be like,
Right.
my little brother gets one, I don't get one. I feel slighted. But but
You
but
got a weird thing for Asians.
Yeah.
no, actually, I don't. It's just the talking point. I really don't. It's like the least of my, search engine, pornography. It's whatever. I kind of theme do it. Like, smoking hot black girl walks in. I'm like, oh, guess what I'm looking at later tonight, right? It just gets stuck in my head of
You
things
just
to
don't
do
see-
later.
Yeah, you just don't see enough Asians to where it gets
To where it gets in.
cache.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Because I don't know. To me, they don't. In my daily travels, I do not run into one. But in Texas, they were everywhere, and they always date the computer programmer looking dude. He's a white guy, and he's anywhere from like 5'9" to like 6 foot, like somewhere in that range. And he's not and it's not like the super built, like, jack dude. He's kind of a, hey, how are you, whatever, because everyone believes that Asians are submissive by nature, right? That, you see that, yes and whatever, right? Just the stereotypical. But being in Texas, and I worked with a lot of Asian run businesses, and it was funny because every time they didn't know I was there, dude,
They're
You-
hardcore, man.
hardcore, and just and yelling. And these are like super Asians, not like super Americanized.
Super Asians.
They're like super Asian, not like Americanized, right? Because I
Yeah.
think once you're Americanized, things change. We all kind of assimilate to the same stuff.
Right.
But it's very trippy. And in Michigan, I remember going to a bar, Times Square downtown, and it was Wayne State. And dude, I don't know if we stumbled in on Asian night or whatever, but I went, oh, there's got to be one in this group of like 50 Asian girls around here and whatever. And it probably didn't help because my eyes got about this big, like a Looney Tunes cartoon. Like my eyes got that big, and I went, oh, look, and this. And every time I made a move, they scattered like, pow. And I was like, oh, balls, I'm not nearly fast or nimble enough to catch any of these creatures. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's interesting, but you know what I'll do for you if I can find time in the next, just to bring some
Watch some
validity.
Asian porn.
Yeah, now that I talked about it, it'll probably happen tonight. But to bring some validation to the point that I was trying to make, because you guys don't know, you're like, whatever, guy, we don't know, we don't see Asians, you got to think for Asians. No, I don't. If I did, I'd be out hunting them. I'd be chasing them around.
Hunting Asians.
Yeah, well, just hunt them, find where they are, and do whatever.
Oh,
and
okay.
magically put yourself
Why
in
did
that.
Texas have such a big group of super Asians?
Dude, Texas has so like culturally diverse.
Right.
And it's weird, but it always seems to be somewhat segregated too. Like there's an Asian, like when you go to Houston, there's an Asian town. There's certain areas where you go, and dude, it's like going to Dearborn here, right?
Right.
Where would you find the largest, accumulation of Arabic people? In Dearborn.
Right.
Same thing in Texas. When you were in certain areas, you would have higher, concentrations, just because. As people begin to,
Establish business,
yeah,
pretty much.
business, and then settle, and then they live near, and it's like Canton. A lot of people say there's a lot of Indian people moving to Canton you go like especially on the apartment side.
Yeah.
Like if you go from Canterbury Mews down and whatever, dude, you can drive through any other community. You don't see Indian families walking up and down the street. You go up and down Haggerty, bro. It's they're getting their exercise.
I did a lot of delivering in Canton for a while, man, and there's it's a lot.
So
But-
that's a reason why. But in Texas, you have like here we have a large Arabic community. In Texas, we have a big Pakistani community, right? Not a lot of Indians. They're generally all Pakistani,
Right.
but we have very few Arab, individuals. So kind of weird, right? You go, I don't know why. I don't know what we choose this one, you choose that one, but it is kind of weird. But you have that.
It's socioeconomic, really. It's kind of just you kind of imagine as families start to go. You get a lot of people kind of go, with their families, cousins when they immigrate to other places, and it just kind of piles. And as that population grows, other people go, oh yeah, okay.
And I've got family there, and
Yeah.
go and go and go.
Or
so
my friends have family there, and I'll be.
But the Asian thing, there are like in Dallas, there's a large. In Houston, it's crazy big.
yeah.
So I can only speak from experience, but yeah, I did notice that being around that many, that every time I saw like an attractive Asian girl or non-attractive, just an Asian girl, and I was like, oh, because they all fit the general profile. They're 5'1" to 5'3". They're all generally about the same. Because I like 5'1" to 5'3", 105 to 115 pounds or whatever. It's all in that same little realm. So they're attractive to the eye, regardless of their origin or who they are, but they just happen to fit that program. So of course I'm going to be like, oh, you look neat. So when I see them, but then I started, because remember, everything I do, I'm extremely visual, and I'm extremely it's just weird. I'm crazy observant. So when I see something, I look and I'm like, oh, there's that chick. I was like, oh, and there's the dude she's with. Oh, there's the dude. Wow, there's a type. And my brother's the type. Like my brother's like 6 foot. He's not big, not small.
He's not. He doesn't look like you.
No, dude, my brothers look nothing like me. I got one brother that looks like Paul Walker. Pretty bastard, right? He's a handsome son of a gun. He was known back in the day, like he was like that pretty. Oh, your brother's which one? He's the pretty bartender at Chili's and whatever. Like girls called him pretty, and I was like, I hate you. Like, how did we come from the same genetic, whatever? And
Yeah, maybe Paul Walker had a date with old
Mad Dog.
Mad Dog.
Dude, Mad Dog's been all over the country. She could have ran into Paul Walker's dad.
Yeah, Mad Dog has gotten around.
And there's no telling of the six husbands.
She rode the bus around the world. She rode the chocolate bus all the way home.
Well, I do know that she did not discriminate, and she did. There was some interesting stuff with old Mad Dog.
He told a story about his mother on a bus with the African American gentleman. And so now I think for his birthday gifts, I'm going to find someone that can make like just a chocolate bus, and I'm just going to gift it to you.
Cool. And I won't even eat it. Maybe I'll eat the wheels or
Just
something.
freeze
But
it.
I'll
and
like put it on the mantle.
Just cryo freeze it.
Yeah, for sure. I've got to have some kind of coating. I'll plasti dip it or something. But yeah,
It's got a lot of gloss to it.
and maybe that's where my non-discriminate, dating profile came from. Because my mom was the coolest. I mean, granted, she was a lot like a hippie. So she was like the coolest, like, didn't matter, this person. She'd talk to homeless people.
She'd show you her bush.
Yeah, no, she showed Friends of the Bush.
Where'd Mad Dog come from?
Her behavior.
Oh,
It's Mad Dog.
just Mad Dog.
Yeah.
Mad Dog.
No, dude, too bad you didn't. If you get a chance, listen back to that one, because I kind of bared my soul. Well, Jake, where have you lived and how have you lived? Where do you get this weird
It
worldview?
was like a weird background of Jake that kind of revolved of his mom
Then it all came back to
flashing
Mad
her
Dog.
vag around the country.
If I ever do something
The
great,
cunt tree.
if I ever do something great or extremely notable, that would be a great Forrest Gump like movie. Like it would have to be like 3 hours, like Forrest Gumpy, to get through all like 6-7 husbands.
Dude, it'd have to be like a 7-season like AMC series.
Yeah, I have a weird feeling it'd be a lot like Lost. Like you
Yeah.
just don't know what's going on because
Just
neither
Lost
do I.
or Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
You
for
just-
sure.
Some crazy going on.
So yeah, all right. Well, I think we hit our time requirement for today, and
Yeah, I'm.
and we kept it kind of classy,
exhausted.
San Diego. We didn't go into sex. We went, we danced around it a little bit. No pun intended with the clit having legs, but we danced around it a little bit. But we kept it, maybe a little
We
more,
did the 8-leg shuffle.
a little more human with the relationship talk.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
this is a very PG, or at least PG-13.
Well,
now,
and I
so-
think I almost think we have to on occasion. I just don't want to get pigeonholed. And don't get me wrong. I mean, if the topic comes up, there's something extremely sexual or whatever. But I don't know. Maybe the run through the woods and the fact that I'm going to have 7 different variations of poison ivy, poison oak. Bit by the last spider before the freeze.
Bit by the last clit spider.
That's right. So yeah, so that's it. So
right.
how'd you like the experience, Dave?
No, I like it.
I tried to bring you in there with the whatever. I didn't want to dig too. Normally, it takes 1 or 2 times before you
No, yeah.
Before you start talking about,
you start having your regression therapy and whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
I want my mad dog. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck. She took down many a man. I've seen many broken men afterwards. Like I'll run into an ex-husband and I'll be like, "Hey,
He won't
Someone-
make eye contact with you. He's
You know-
like, hey, hi, Jake.
no," or they look down and they seem broken and like, "This is the worst thing ever happened to me."
Boy, let
The only one, my father. I love that woman. Man, I love that woman more than I gonna. And I was like, "You're crazy."
She scares the shit out of me, Jacob.
Yeah, I'd never get with her now or whatever. Don't get me wrong, she's batshit crazy, but man, I love that woman. Like you don't understand. My dad got in a fight with police officers over my mom.
Yeah.
It started at a very young age. Like my mom. Okay, here's one part that I didn't tell you. The weird anthology. We'll end the show on this. That my dad. All the reasons why I left your mother. He was like, do you know that
Why I left your mother. That's a good show too.
yeah, it's a How I Met Your Mother. That's what they need to do is a why I left your
Why
mother.
I left your mother.
That would be a good one.
You could
Let's
write
write
that
it.
one.
Let's
Yeah,
write
okay,
it,
I'm
Mister.
down.
I can also do screenplays.
Yeah, I'm down. That's a good one.
So and kind of base it loosely on that show.
Yeah.
And then I think it would have to be funny because
That would be a very dark, serious
Yeah.
thing to do.
Yeah.
Just a guy just always depressed going through all this, just getting beat up by Mad Dog and fighting cops.
Or he
drinking
just
himself to sleep.
Or he just keeps dating random chicks and
Yeah.
he keeps leaving them like
Yeah.
I picked badly again. Balls.
then he finally hooks up with the kid's mom, who's you're telling the story to, and then he ends up leaving her too.
That's right. That's the way we end the series. It would kind of be like if Al Bundy dated more before he got with Peg, right? Like make it like Al Bundy. I think we could like Frankenstein ideas from other shows and the character driven and pull it together. I think that'd be pretty neat.
I'm kind of down. I want to sketch some stuff out tonight
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. Well, you know what? Let's leave the show on that idea. We won't even get into into Mad Dog and my dad, almost catching a case because mom's out running the roads at 20 while I'm sitting in a bassinet by myself.
All right, guys.
It's not a
All
good
right,
life.
guys, it's been real.
All right.
All right. Well, this is the Bachelor Pad Radio. We'll be back tomorrow, 9:30-ish. We try every day for 9:30. I don't even know what time we started today.
We started like 9:20, dude.
You want to do the backwards math? It's 1:31 we've been on, and it is 10:57. So we actually started early.
Yeah, we started like 9:20 something.
That's what's up. We're making up for lost time. We figure we
well,
grinched.
you know what? I got on.
Yeah,
I
Nick
started
put
your
that fire
computer
in
up,
your
and
dude,
all you
seriously.
had to do was copy and paste the code, and we were good.
You know what, asshat? I listened to like 3 post episodes where you said you were going to do that and you didn't. You make me go through my same like freak out every day. Like it's like popping a mental zit as I'm in here like, no, why does it hurt? Get the pus out of here.
I don't know, man.
I listened to like 3 of them. You said you were going to do
You
it.
got any
But you
proof?
did follow through this time. So
Yeah, I came
good job.
through. Okay, it panned out for you in the podcast, and we all had a good time.
Oh, there we
I'm
go.
gonna watch some Asian porn tonight.
Yeah, let's compare notes tomorrow. No screenshotting or no Snapchats or no video of
We'll
said.
compared busts. Yeah. We'll
Okay. Yeah, most
Save it
definitely.
as Ziploc. All right, Facebook.
All right, Facebook Live. We're out of here. Time to go do other stuff. Later.
Oh, fucking Christ. I'm getting fucking tired.
Uh-oh.